I want to make this clear. I was very privileged and proud to play with the members of Deep Purple, the Mark III generation. I was not a major fan of Mark II Purple. It wasn't the kind of rock that I listened to growing up. It was too traditional for me. It wasn't, and once again, I'm not using the word funk here, it had no sex in the music. There was no groove to it. There was no, I like music that makes me want to move, not think. I want to be able to think, I just move and just, you know, that's the kind of music I like. I never stepped into Deep Purple and Roger's shoes to stick our fingers up and say, well, I'm going to just do it the way I do it. Ian Pace and I had formed a relationship as a rhythm section that was a different rhythm section to Roger Glover. It needed to be different. Ian Pace in 1971, 72 and 73 was the greatest percussionist snare drum player in rock. He'd taken his stuff from Buddy Rich, Louis Bellson. He'd taken it up a step further, and he was great. And now Ian was probably listening to more of the stuff that I might have been playing in the car or in his house. I lived together with Ian for a while. He was becoming more interested in probably the groovier music that I was listening to. I'd have to say that was a fact. Ian Trapeze, over the last couple of years, 71, 72, people would offer me all kinds of drugs and I would refuse them. I was a very light drinker. I didn't have a drink problem either, so I was more interested in where was the stage and have I got my, you know, 7-Up to drink, and I didn't like pot, cannabis, any of those drugs, didn't like downers or uppers, and I refused cocaine for many, many years, and it was very obvious that when Purple was so big that that kind of iconic status brings out the scum of the earth, i.e. drug dealers and pimps and whores and, you know, circus people, and, you know, it's like a Fellini movie. They all find you, and lo and behold, before you could shake a stick, there was drug dealers on every gig and backstage thing, and there was lines of coke put out, and I was looking, what is this stuff? Eventually, people would start putting it in my pockets, you know, and also to other members of the band, but it's not their story. This is my story about drugs, and the fact of the matter is that I sort of slowly and surely became addicted to a drug that I thought was a non-addictive drug. I thought, well, this is just kind of fun, you know, but cocaine back then, we all thought, all of us thought that because we'd be sitting in meetings in record companies and executives doing lines of coke, well, it's like, okay, well, I'm happening now, I'm in a rock band, and cocaine's probably the drug of choice, right? Isn't everybody doing it? I mean, everybody's doing it, right? So, and lo and behold, some of us did it and some of us sort of pushed it aside, and I slowly and surely became, you know, addicted to that powder, which became the bane of my life. I became aware during the recording of Stormbringer of the kind of problems that Glenn had with substance abuse. And I'm not saying that the rest of us were squeaky clean. Ian Pace, who never took a drug in his life, unless you call alcohol a drug, of course. You know, the rest of us experimented here and there with bits and pieces. But I became aware that Glenn was truly in a bit of trouble. And that became even more apparent during the making of Come Taste the Band. Of course it was difficult. It was difficult for Ian Pace. And he and I were close. We all had been pretty close all over the years, I mean, and still are. So,
Yeah, it was not an easy time, especially to see the increasing remoteness of Richie during the storm. I could see him moving away. I didn't know he was going to leave until later, but I could see him moving away, and that was disturbing because he was a very big part of the engine that drove the ship, and I didn't like to see him, being disaffected by what was going on.